Today, we're talking about diabetic foot ulcers, why they just don't seem to heal the way we want them to, and what you really need to focus on first to finally see progress. By the end of this video, I want you to feel a little more confident about what's holding these wounds back and what changes that story. You know, we're often taught to clean the wound, pick the right dressing, and just keep at it. But here's the thing I've learned. You can do all of that right and still watch the wound sit there, not changing, not closing. So what's going on? Let's break that down. For those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Voltaire, a wound care physician, and I've been there standing over a diabetic foot ulcer that's been well dressed, well cleaned, and still looks exactly the same as it did weeks ago. It took some humbling lessons for me to see where we need to start before we pick up that dressing. If you're someone who's tried your best on these wounds, but keeps wondering, why isn't this working? You're not alone. And the good news is it's not about buying fancier dressings or tools. It's about seeing the full picture first. Here's what we'll walk through today. The 5 big reasons diabetic foot ulcers stay stuck. What to check before you even think about dressing that wound. The simple mindset shift that makes all the difference. And a real case that taught me this the hard way. Also at the end, I'll share the one question I ask every single time I see a diabetic foot ulcer. Let's start with what makes diabetic foot ulcers so tricky. It's easy to look at them like just a skin problem, right? But they're not. They're a symptom of deeper issues like nerve damage, poor blood flow, pressure, and a slower immune system. So if we only focus on the surface, we're really missing what's going on underneath. Here's what keeps these wounds stuck. First, neuropathy. The nerves aren't working the way they should. The patient can't feel the injury, so they just keep walking on it, re-injuring it, and they don't even know. Second is poor blood flow. If oxygen and nutrients can't get to that spot, how is it going to heal? We can't expect good granulation tissue without good circulation. Thirdly, pressure. Every step, every rub against a shoe, that's reopening that wound over and over again. Fourth is infection risk. Those tiny cracks, they're open doors for bacteria. And the immune system is slower to respond, so the infection can really take hold. Fifth is slow cellular response. Even if everything else is perfect, the skin cells, the fibroblasts, they move slower, so healing takes longer. So what's the first step? Before we even start picking out dressings, offload, get the pressure off. That could be a total contact cast or a removable boot, or even just changing up the footwear so the ulcer isn't taking the hit every time they stand up. Without that, I don't care how good your dressing is, it's not going to work. This is where I see us fall into a trap. We clean, we dress, we feel like we're doing everything right, but if that wound keeps getting pressure or doesn't have enough blood flow, the dressing can't do the job. So instead of starting at the surface, start at the cause. Before I do anything sharp, before I think about debridement, I check the flow. Are there pulses? Is the foot warm or cool? Is the color good? If the ABI is low, say under 0.5, I'm not going to debride. I'm going to get vascular involved, because if the blood can't get there, that tissue can't heal. One of the scariest things with these wounds is that infection can be brewing and the patient feels nothing because of the neuropathy. So we've got to look for changes in drainage and new odor, also signs of swelling and redness, any systemic signs like chills or fever. And when in doubt, I probe to bone because we don't want to miss an osteomyelitis hiding underneath. That's a bone infection. A big part of healing these wounds isn't just what we do, it's how we talk to the patient. A lot of folks feel embarrassed, or they hate wearing the boot, or they're afraid to take time off work. So I try to ask, what's been hard about using the boot? How are you feeling about this plan? And I let them know, this is tough. We're not failing, we're a team here. There was a patient I once had, Mr. S. He came in with a small ulcer on the bottom of his foot. It didn't hurt him. He figured it wasn't a big deal, but I checked his pulses and there was nothing. ABI was 0.6. We got him in a boot and Vascular did their part. And once his blood flow improved, the ulcer healed. If we just dressed it without looking deeper, I don't think that the foot would have made it. Here's the checklist I use. Number 1 is offload the pressure, then check blood flow, then look for infection. After that, you pick the dressing that matches the moisture, not the brand that sounds fancy. And then you reassess every visit. Is it changing? Is it shrinking? We don't just want to close the ulcer. We want to save the limb. We want to protect function. We want the patient walking well for years to come. This isn't just about what dressing to use. It's about stepping back and seeing the whole picture and starting where healing really begins. If you've ever thought, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, but it's not working, you're not alone. This isn't about working harder. It's about starting smarter. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, check out my next video on arterial ulcers, why debriding too early can cause more harm than good. It's a lesson that changed how I see every leg wound I treat. Stay informed and heal well.